Hi, hello. Welcome to the Consularship brought to you by Vertex. My name is Serene Priestess Abossi. I'll be your oracle today. We got to talk about binding. There's energies, entities, ideologies, enemies, really, that are acting upon us. I've been getting a lot of messages from the goddess about her children being targeted. So we're really being targeted as tribute. I don't know another way to say that. Okay. We're being targeted as tribute. I don't know another way to say that because, we are divine, blissful, blessed souls, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. Part of coming into this realm, it's like a petri dish or a simulation. And the thing that'll help us win every time is just having a good heart, a pure heart, a clean heart. That's not actually what happens with everybody. A lot of the beings that you see in hell, there's two distinct things that are related, but they're not causally related. So one thing, it's about the purity of the heart. And the other thing, it's about a person's intentions. So yes, one can lead to the other, but one is not because of the other. Or said differently, your intentions lead to your actions. And your actions might be taken out of your heart, but the intention is usually something about how we perceive reality. Meaning, there is a little space in our life where if we're set right and we're dutiful and disciplined to our teachings, teacher, maybe their parent, maybe their preacher, whatever, what have you, we might be set up for the rest of our life in a way that doesn't lead us to hell. That's not always the case, however. Oftentimes, the road to heaven will bring out suffering because there's things that need to be cleansed and purified. And the road to hell will bring pleasure because there's some type of need to escape. Now, this need to escape is always going to trace back, and it won't seem like this on the surface or literally, but it figuratively is always this. When we're searching out pleasure, we're looking to merge back into the divine. But if we do it through the ways of the world, we will become lost. So it's a catch 22 because, yes, absolutely, we do need to be in this world, but we need to not be of this world because we're not. In reality, we're not of this world. We come here either for a sacred mission if we are um, on an assignment, or we come here to learn if we were admitted. So there's that people who have an admission, meaning they need to like fill out an application, kind of like applying to university, the universe. It means united in one song, but um, there's also those who like are the faculty. So those are people that are on assignment. We don't fill out like an enrollment application to come to Earth School. We fill out an employment application. We are applying for credentials in the higher realm. So sometimes we come here again and again and again and again because maybe we're teaching elementary, then we're teaching middle school, then we're teaching high school, then all of a sudden we're a professor. Does that make sense? So it's a misnomer, a lot of what we're going through and growing through. And there are entities, energies, ideologies that are aligned to ensnare, entrap beings here in some kind of false matrix. Now, it is a mind construct. That's why I'm saying, like, a lot of us are just seeking pleasure. Oftentimes we're healing from crisis, we're healing from trauma, and others of us are out of our heart. We have an experience or two that makes us turn away from the universal love. Okay, and that's sad. I don't want that for anybody. So what we came here, I mean, what I was sent here to do, yeah, devastation. If we don't come here and heal, and oftentimes that this is also another indicator of repelling black magic. You see, and if you read the scrolls, there's a lot of scrolls here. It won't be a quick read, but if we, this is called healing, because she can heal anything, even poison. This is the being that devours your soul if you don't, if when you get weighed against the feather and it doesn't go well. This is the promise on our life. So this is the thing that's fueling all our experiences, both good and bad. And then this, as we go into the higher realms, this is the being we come across that restores our understanding of our divine, eternal, immortal soul. You know, when we incarnate here, we lose a lot of understanding of the universe so that we can embody free will. If we come here and we understand divine will, then we're on assignment. And some people even then will break their vow, break their oath, break their covenant. That's a bigger thing. There's a difference between accidental evil and intentional evil. So I'm going to talk to us as if we're in accidental evil or we're returning to wholeness, to goodness. I'm going to talk to us as if we're going up against intentional evil, meaning sinister and wicked, not us who were formerly accidental evil, formerly miserly and bitter. Now we're turning to unconditional love and universal oneness. We're returning to that energy, okay? So we're gonna run through the gates a few more times. I would rather move on from this. I prefer to run through the gates during retrogrades, certain retrogrades. It's not what's going on right now. So when you see the hands in the title, that means that we're running through the gates. So we're doing something spiritual, deeply spiritual. Okay, so I'm just gonna check really quickly here and see what's going on because I'm getting a lot of energy about us being targeted. Things are, we're being offered as tribute to the dark. Okay, some kind of binding mechanism as well. There's a lot of binding going on. I'm seeing it everywhere. It keeps coming across me. And okay, so, oh. So the first thing is there's a gift, a promise on our life. We're about to receive something. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, so again, our heart's desires, if we're fully in alignment, if we're fully embodied, if we're fully awakened, if we're fully healed, our heart's desires will be granted, especially if we're acting in alignment with the universal oneness. We're going to get everything we hoped, wished, and prayed and dreamed for, as long as it supports our assignment here upon the earth. And there's energies, entities, ideologies, higher ranking ones that want to bind this and make sure either we get our messages delayed or we don't get them at all. And they're hoping that if we don't get them at all, that we turn into like a Judas, Jezebel, Jonas type of energy where we help become an agent, a collaborator, a cooperator, and taking people off the path, taking people out of their space, tricking them out of their spot, essentially. There's also this energy of when we get a delayed message, sometimes it creates the sadness that we can't come out of. So like a depression is a really way of displacing somebody from their spot. It's the equivalent on the earth of like gentrification or dilapidation. Okay, so when we're depressed, our heart closes up a little bit. And that's oftentimes what the enemy needs in order for us to be accessible, approachable to them. So I want to check into this binding. Remember, we were just talking about being tricked out of our spot. Okay, so we're not going to use the Thoth Tarot today for the clarification. This is a binding card, Eight of Swords. We're going to use the Night Sun Tarot by Fabio Strani. Yeah, so they want to block our heaven door. They want to make us forget that we have a crown. This is the Wheel of Fortune and the Eight of Cups. That's what they want to do. And it's projection. So they're trying to project some type of energy frequency at us so that we step into the vibration of, yeah, because we've already made it in the future. We're already come close to manifesting something. So I want to see what kind of tools they're using. So they're trying to impose their will over ours, which is some kind of, we have three here, so pardon me. Yeah, okay, so this is telling me that there's a cabal, there's a coven, because this is what they do. There could be cooperators, collaborators as well. This is what they do. They use ancient Sumerian, I'm hearing Sumerian, Persian magic, so the Persian bloodlines. Okay, so this is some of the oldest dark magic on the surface of the planet. And the athame, or the sword, would tell me that they're trying to impose their will upon us because using some type of fortune telling, divination. So they know what's going to happen before we do because they're part of an ancient collaboration energy. And it's not always the people that we're going up against. Sometimes it's just a demon that's attached, or a spirit that's attached to these people. So they're being used as agents of the devil, or the enemy. But this energy is something ancient. It's kind of like the spirit of chaos. It's like they know that we're about to come into the promise of our life. They know that the energy frequency vibration of the earth is going to change. They know that new earth is coming. They know that the golden age is coming back. They know by watching the symbols, the omens, that something here is about to pop for the chosen children, for the ones that are in the light, for the ones that have the promise on their life, meaning the ones that can make it back into paradise, the ones who will be admitted into the Garden of Eden. And there's also something, yeah, so we're being called out because our spirit body is about to be integrated. Okay, so what is some protection? See, uncrossing. I was just looking this up. So I know one thing we need to do is we need to cleanse, and we need to shield, and we need to do protective magic. Uncrossing is a rite of cleansing where you release mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical blocks. Let's see. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, so one thing that they're doing is they're working on the collective. It's no individual person being targeted, and that's not always true. Sometimes we come across an enemy or an adversary, and they are targeting us specifically because of an interaction they had with us. But this is more the collective that's being targeted. All right. And we need to do a lot of water cleansing right now because it's collective energy. So the water cleansing would help us return to our own subtle nature. Water cleansing could be multiple things. I wouldn't just do one thing. I would put a bowl of salt water in the corner of the room. I'd put a little bit of salt under the bed. I'd sprinkle salt water across the door frames to the bedroom and to the house or the apartment. I would take a few baths a week. The first time you start taking baths, if you haven't taken baths in a while, take 3. A lot of people always go to the Epsom salt. You got to do a little bit more than that. Or take an Epsom salt bath for 9 days in a row. It could be more than Epsom salt. You can use sea salt. You can use anything but table salt, because table salt has other things in there. We need to be doing a little bit more divination. What I like to do is I like to take a glass of water, well, 2 glasses of water, take a glass of water, leave it in a room overnight, and then the next day crack an egg into it and just wait a few minutes and see what the egg does. If you don't know how to do egg divination, it's fine. Another thing we could do is, get a glass of water either with an egg, or get a glass of water and take this egg around your body, either right above your body or take it, rub it over most parts on the body, and then drop that egg in a glass of water, come back in an hour and do divination on that glass. What I like to do is to set a glass on top of the deck. So take the deck and then set the glass on top of the deck, go away and come back and read. Because we're getting altar, Saturn, cauldron ancestors, Neptune, cup, and water. And then we also have here Rose of Jericho, Artemis, fire, and air. Okay, so we're being attacked from all sides. First thing they're doing is they're attacking our money. They don't want us to be redeemed. They don't want us to be safe. They don't want us to be whole. They don't want us to be intact. They don't want us to have that part of ourselves that's independent. They want us to be enslaved. Artemis is that part of us that's seeking. Also, they are attacking vulnerable classes. So it's not just Blacks or poor or, refugees, things like that. It's women and children and people that have protection. If you're a woman, there's a certain type of protection that you have because God loves women, or he answers the prayers of women a little bit quicker. Children, the cries of children can summon the angels or God. Fire. So fire is the part of us that's independent, that has will, that has sight, that has vision. Air, this is the part of us that has some kind of authority. All right, the ability to take up space and having our own knowing. The ability to look at things with clarity, also to invoke spirits is air energy. Okay, so ancestors, so they're tapping into celestial lineages, they're tapping into ancestral magic, they're also tapping into generational curses, and they're using a muddling energy, cauldron, and instead of letting things intensify, they're actually using that energy to stir it all together and have it muddled. And then there are mechanisms in society that are aligned already with this kind of exploitation. This is exploitive magic because it's dark, it's Saturn. So it's repression, suppression, oppression, depression, especially with the water and the ancestors that they want to depress. So we need to do cleansing in terms of water, and we also need to be burning things, incense, candles, more incense than candles. Because if they block our love, if they block our money, it's really easier to get us into that depressed energy. And they don't want us in our creativity. They don't want us in our will either. They want us to be broke, stuck, and stupid. And broke is not always cash money, dollar bills. It could be a lack of self-empowerment, a lack of courage in itself. So let's get in here, fit in here, and see what we got going on. We might not need to fit into something that is dark and made of the cabal. There are cabals, both dark and light ones. So light cabals would be ancestors, ascended masters, benevolent spirits, the ones that died and got exalted to the higher realm. Heavenly beings, divine beings, eternal beings, immortal beings, celestial beings. Okay, again, like I said, we're being volunteered as tribute because we have some type of sacred power. And also, some of us left behind are really, really strong. And so we're being targeted individually for that reason. Because everybody has a little bit of magic, it's unknown, but everybody has a little bit of magic. Now, some of us have the kind of magic that can destroy entire legions of demons. Okay, and so that's what's being targeted here. And what I'm doing with this deck today is I'm just because I'm hearing Baphomet, and I oftentimes this spirit gets distorted a little bit, but it's that mermaid on the Starbucks, the lion mermaid. That's what I'm doing right now. Who we're communing with. Let's just say segment. It's not exactly that. Okay, so we are supposed. This is the second time we got the King of Pentacles. We got it in this deck as well, the clarifying deck, the Night Sun Tarot. So we're about to come into some type of material manifestation because we've mastered our own energy. We know how to navigate the world, even if we don't know where we're navigating to. And we've come up in some kind of way. So we have some sacred calling on our life and some God-given position, some God-given right that's trying to be, there's some energy, entity, ideology is trying to exploit in some kind of way. Okay, and then here's a block. Yeah, it's and there's covens, cliques, cabals, collaborators, cooperators, not co-creators that are trying to impugn upon this in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. We're about to have our prayers answered towards the end of the year. It's really going to be a different world in terms of those who are united in love. We say Christ, that really means unconditional love. Okay, so yeah, we have certitude and security if we are awakened and healed. And that's a problem for those who need, people who are needy and wounded. They need an easy mark then. I don't know what card was that. And there's people right beside us that aren't calling things out. I've been seeing that a lot, not feeling supported, not being adequately supported. It just basically means people either want to understand and learn our vulnerabilities or they want to benefit from our brokenness or benefit from our unhealed self is another way to put that. So in one way, we've been traveling alone and we're realizing that we're not alone, but we need to connect to the divine. A lot of this is quarantined because they're trying to do some kind of destiny swap or power swap or energy swap. Yeah, that's a harvesting. And as we discover we're not alone, because we have God, we have divine, we're never alone. And that's the problem. There's this energy for a long time that's been steady, 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 trying to get us to lower our energy, trying to get us to lower our guard, trying to get us to allow or become more vulnerable in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. And that's a trespass. So there are false, fake, phony, fictitious entities, ideologies around us. People are not as they seem, most of them. They're trying to see where we're vulnerable so they can block us in some kind of way. I was just having a download. Um, Okay, and we're withdrawing and we're detaching a lot. So a lot of the tips and quips and tactics that would work before are not working now. A lot of the strategies. See, that's the thing. If you can't come real, come hard, come harder. If you can't be about what you're about, if you got to do the sideways, rickety, sneaky, tweaky, if you got to do the sideways, seditious, trifling, and treacherous thing, you need to bounce up out of here. You need to go, ho. You need to get gone, get goodbye, bye. I don't know what that is, what that looks like, what that's about. You can go tell it to your mama. Let's hope she's still here, because if she ain't, you know where to go, you know what to do. That's what's up. This little strategy, tactic, agenda, ulterior motive just to hang around. You got a lot to kick it. That's what that is. It's what that be. That's what that looks like. And so that's what we're coming up against now. People are upset that we've changed or we've healed or our boundaries are harder or more rigid or whatever. They're upset that they can't exploit us or use us or, walk us around like a dog. They can't shat in our face. And that's a part, that's why, okay, I'm getting too much here too. Because it's not just the people around us, it's also the collective energy. So sometimes this is affecting us and it's not anything. Yes, because we're better teacher. We're beautiful, refined, and made in the image of the Lord. We are worthy of the unconditional love of the Creator. And everybody receives that love, but those who are worthy of that love are called chosen. And those who are receiving that love, they have the opportunity to become saved. The ones who aren't receiving that love have lost their soul. That's really what that is. Those who don't have an open heart cannot receive the love of the divine because they refuse it and they forsake it. That's just, it's one of those things. It's like God is there to love you. And the only way God's not loving is if you don't accept that love. And the easiest way to not accept that love is to lose your heart, lose your soul. Okay. It's one of those hard things to understand. Okay, so I'm hearing that Happy Nation song by Ace of Base. We walk through time and travel all alone. Yeah, a happy nation, living in a happy nation. Yeah, and so that's the truth. We have some kind of divine, ultimate, or serene, or supreme authority. Living in a happy nation for the people, for the good, for mankind, brotherhood. Yeah, so this is the thing. We have options, we have choices, but not only that, is we are on a righteous path. And as things come across us, now we can overcome any little obstacle in our way. That's a problem. Before we would be two of swords, not two of wands. We'd be stuck on stupid, or we've been waylaid or whatever. It might have even gone from a two of swords to a five of pentacles, where we were just acting like we didn't have the solution, even though it was right in front of us. So we're not so easily exploitable, and that something is getting very upset about. Because this is unfortunate, but this is psychopathy. You see this a lot, where it's not it's a sum zero game, meaning they think that if we're happy, if we're thriving, that they're for some reason losing. So that's not just scarcity mentality. Sometimes that's an illness in the soul, a sickness in the spirit. Okay, so this is quarantine because of some kind of binding. So there is binding here, because when the devil came, or when I put the devil in, the Three of Swords came right back. And it's some kind of cabal. So it could be people that are high positions of power, governors, senators, council members, things of that nature. Maybe if we're in a state government, it could be like the chief justice of our state court. It could be things like special counsel. It could be things like, if it's the military, it would be colonel and above, rear admiral in the Navy or the Air Force. So it's people that are exalted, that are esteemed, that are elite, celebrities even. But those are used, yeah. So again, we're coming into some type of clarity We just can't be fooled, can't be conned as easily as before. And it's enraging a group of dark practitioners out there. It's like, why aren't you a victim? Why won't you be willing prey? Why won't you be a consenting victim? Why won't you be willing victim? Why won't you be consenting prey? It's because we know who we are, what we're about right now, and we have something else in mind for our lives. And so that's on us another sign of darkness or psychopathy is when somebody is imposing their will upon us and they don't understand why we don't want to give them what they want, which is harmful. That's common that that person doesn't understand why we won't give them what they want. It's really because they don't respect our boundaries, so they don't respect us. But then there is another breed of person, a little bit of a step beyond that, where they're trying to impose their will upon us. They don't understand that we have separate visions, separate values, separate, decision-making criteria, separate, judgment criteria. We have a separate set of feelings, a separate set of thoughts. Like we're an independent person. We're not an extension of them. We're autonomous, meaning self-governing, self-guided. And they don't understand that. They don't like that. They want to impose, or that's called annexation. That's colonizing and control technology. Hello, just to be out there saying it. So something's getting purified, also, but they keep coming back. So this energy of consistent. Oh well, another again. We keep having a lot of quarantines here, but this still has metadata. So let's look at it. Okay, first of all, it's because we're chosen, highly blessed, favored, chosen, anointed. We've made it. In the future, we're already in the promised land. And right now, what's going on is if we get out of this mess that they're in, their energy, their powers get binded down. So if this doesn't work, if the enemy isn't able to get us as a victim, isn't able to have successful tribute to their demonic overlord, not only are they going to lose out pretty big, but they're going to be stuck. They're not going to be able to make it out of the darkness like they always do, because they're using other people to pay for the karma of whatever they're doing. See, dark magic has costs that those who are in the light would never want to pay. And it took a very long time to get this message, just because we're a golden goose. So having us as tribute, having us be volunteered as tribute, not maybe self-volunteer, but offered up as tribute to the darkness, if that ever went successfully, which 9 times out of 10 it won't, the things that the being, usually in a human form, would get if we were successfully offered as tribute, see, we can quantify them, but I can't transmit to you how valuable that is to them. Because think of it from this perspective. What happens if you lose the grace of the divine? What happens if you're kicked out of heaven? What happens if your spiritual powers no longer work? What happens if you know your destiny after you leave this world is one of darkness and eternal suffering? There's only one reason for eternal suffering. It's to be purified and cleansed on a soul level. And the thing about being born into this world is this opportunity to be saved and redeemed. Okay, this is very quarantine. There's seal after seal after seal after seal here. Okay. It's because things are bound. There's been a lot of binding. Things are bound. But the binding, I'm about to send this up. Let's see what comes back. Okay, they're aware of that, and everybody who's been binding people unnecessarily, they're going to be punished. Now they were told, and so a lot of them, since they're in our energy, they can copy our signature. They're able to whittle their way around it through practical magic. Remember in the beginning, the Book of Shadows came up, meaning this is like ancient cabal magic. They know what they're doing because it's been going on from generation after generation. That this isn't a confirmation of that. But again, I just sent it to the throne of the divine, and they said back, "Oh, we know, and it's already being taken care of." Yeah, so they're gonna let them hang themselves. They've been given more rope, and to the degree in which they harm others is the degree of which the punishment is gonna be. So the groundwork's been laid on both sides, on the good side and the dark side, and so they're gonna let the dark side curse themselves. And we're just being told to stay strong. And that's another reason why some of our money plans haven't worked. The reason why our celestial endowment won't come to our hands is because we'll lose it right now because of the warfare. The war needs to be declared as over, at least in certain realms, spaces and dimensions, so that we can be safe. But said differently, so our inheritance can be safe. Because yeah, there's a lot of corruption is the word I'm hearing, but there's a lot of cabals here, cliques, covens. And they need us, a pure soul, as tributes. Yeah, okay, and so now we're safe, but there was trauma and drama. The binding is not going to work. What is bound, binded needs to be binded, and then they need to think that they were able to cut something up for us. But they weren't. Whatever they were able to interfere with, it was a lesson from the divine. And once we get out of that, it's whatever was taken away is going to be multiplied when it returns. We need to not step out of our energy and stay in our spot so that we can receive big time whenever something comes back in. We need to do what we came to this world to do and not worry about the why that is not happening. By doing so, we'll realize that sometimes when bad things were allowed to happen to us, the Lord was using the enemy to teach us a lesson and using us to test the enemy to see who they really were and how they would really do. So they lost the test and we learned the lesson. I mean, they failed an exam and we learned a lesson. Okay, so again, we were volunteered as tribute and that's over. We've made it in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. It's been an honor and pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. If anything I said resonates deeply with you, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a session, send a donation. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.